Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another TW9 video. You join us for a bigger episode with Rampage, Collision, Shockwave and of course Battle of the Belts before we head into next week's go-home shows for Blood and Guts. So a lot of things on the horizon. Quickly cover Rampage taping. Just kind of people were wanting to give a bit of momentum to and kind of work with some of their skill sets. So I had Hologram defeat Jay Lethal in a 66. We had another Ash by Elegance angle which was a 32. Yuka Sakazaki defeated Ash after this, which was a 47. We had a little bit of a promo from Sammy Guevara, which was a 54. Some words from Johnny TV ahead of his match with Bandido, that was a 42. Bandido then defeated Johnny TV in a 51. We then had some words from Private Party, which was a 51 as well. And our main event saw the Undisputed Kingdom's Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly defeat the MXM Collection in a 68 rated main event. So pretty decent stuff, as I say. Let's try to give everybody action. I know there's going to be a lot of people that won't feature for ages and probably end up getting released or let their contracts lapse. But overall, good for Rampage. Now let's do a bit of Collision. So hopefully this is a show that gains us pop. I think it is probably going to be Blood and Guts that hopefully gets us over the line. But Collision's in the Maverick Stadium and we start off with the AEW World Champion in action. And it was about to have some great wrestling and good heat. Orange Cassidy defeats Buddy Matthews in 12:51 with the beach break. These two did pretty well together. Orange Cassidy with an 86 thanks to the good chemistry between both of them. Buddy with 62, but overall it gives us an 80 rated segment, which I can be absolutely delighted with. That's kind of where I need my main event guys to be hitting. After the matchup, we just see Orange Cassidy pose with the AEW World Championship. We then have the coin drop, and again it's a little bit of mind games from Okada. And he's at the top of the ramp, signalling that it won't be long until the Rainmaker takes the belt off of Orange Cassidy. So a 78 for that one, so that's good, solid start. The Then Now Forever storyline advances. Orange Cassidy benefits from a hot catchphrase. Moving along, we had a decent matchup that was quite short. It was our storytelling match of the evening, and Hook defeated Evil Uno in 7:25 with Red Rum. Simple, effective matchup to give Hook some momentum. A 58 segment with Hook's in-ring is a 59. We then move to a backstage meeting of the Hurt Syndicate, which basically MVP talks and Bobby Lashley, Powerhouse Hobbs and Shelton Benjamin listen. MVP says, now we got rid of that Deadwood Dijakovic, or is it Donovan Dijak, whatever he's called now. He's back to Ring of Honor anyway and probably won't be back until his contract lapses, we'll let him go. But we're back to the regular four. But we got to address the elephant in the room, Shelton. We love you like a brother, but come on man, these defeats ain't helping. We got to sort that stuff out. This is dog eat dog here. We got to stay collective. Well, we got to be collectively strong. We got to stay strong to stay high in AEW. We can't have little problems around here like AJ Styles. So they've maybe identified AJ Styles as a threat, and the Hurt Syndicate's meeting was a 47. We had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Young Bucks defeated the Acclaimed in 13:18 with Nicholas Jackson that pinned Max Caster with the Meltzer driver. He was head and shoulders above the rest in in-ring work, so a spectacular 91 there for Nick. Matthew is 79 and Bones just ahead of Caster, but together they produce a 77 and some positive momentum for the Young Bucks. After this, they pick up the win. We see them look at the hard cam. They will point to their watches that they've got on their wrists and say it's only a matter of time before they get some new competition. So a 66, pretty poor. Matthew Jackson struggled when going off script. You guys asked to go off script and you do that. Not great. Next up, this one suffered because it had to be a wild brawl, just the way the card worked out. And with good heat and decent wrestling, Becky Quinn picks up the win over Azumi in 11:26 with hard knocks. So a nice wee different opponent for Becky. But we keep up our positive momentum. She brings a 73, Azumi brings a 53, and a 67 rated match, which I'm quite happy with because it wouldn't have suited their styles. We then see Will Ospreay backstage, went out of nowhere with a steel chair. I wish I could just type right. I know I read this stuff out and obviously it's just notes, but come on, that's poor for me. But anyway, it's the Hangman, and he's brutally beating down Ospreay, targeting Will Ospreay's knee with the chair. It's just a complete beatdown for like 3-4 minutes. You end up with the security trying to pull Hangman away because he's literally just obliterated Ospreay. And he just says, this isn't over Ospreay. until I get you exactly where I want you. So a 79 for that segment, pretty strong. And a Hanger and Ospreay go to war, storyline advances and gains heat. Then about they had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. So this makes me think, as I say, if we go under the 20 minutes we're capped at 80, which I'm fine with, but it also hangs into my theory that we kind of need to be going higher than 20 minutes for our main events. But anyway, Swerve picks up another win over Commander in 13:37 with Swerve Stomp. Made these two steal the show. Commander with 62, Swerve with 90. It makes me wonder, like, if I'd done OC Swerve, is it, well, I suppose they'd have a psychology penalty, but it just shows like Swerve is at that level, at a high level, where if we can get him over 20 minutes without the need of steal the show, he can put on some really, really good matches. But 76, 53 crowd, 80 segments, so big pressure on the main event to go well. But after the matchup, Swerve picks up the win, and his music's cut off by Kenny Omega's, and we see Kenny on the Titantron. Swerve, Swerve, Swerve Strickland. A man who has been on a tear the last 18 months of AEW, which in truth has mostly been while I've been injured, but you fascinate me, a true great talent that has taken his chance and ran with it. And I knew it was only going to be a matter of time before we locked up and crossed paths. Do I accept your challenge, Swerve? I'm Kenny Omega, I'm the best bout machine. You're damn right I'm accepting this, and I'll see you at Blood and Guts. So a 78 for these two. Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland Continental Championship. Oof, that should be a really, really good one. Probably should have attached a storyline to it, but there's going to be a few moving pieces in the next couple of months. I think it's because we've got the short run to Blood and Guts, and then everything needs to be storylined on the way to All In. So, delighted with that. Interesting, other segments are now kind of high 70s, so hopefully main event does the business. But before we hit that, we've got a segment backstage, and it's just basically Hangman, he's walking backstage, and then bumping next to him John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac and Wheeler Yuta, the Death Riders, and Moxley says, Hangman Page, I may have an offer that would be too good to turn down. Please come with me, come speak with us, we come in peace. So what is Hangman discussing with the Death Riders? We'll find out as the shows go along, as we go into next week. But a 7-rated segment, storyline advances, gains heat, everything positive there, apart from obviously the character stuff with Wheeler Yuta. And it's main event time on Collision. Will we gain pop or lose pop purely on the basis of this match? It's a banger. Yes, there we go. I can always rely on Konosuke Takeshita. And it was a superb wrestling match with a decent reaction from the crowd as Takeshita defeats Tomohiro Ishii in 21-19 with the touchdown, and it's his 9th defence of the International Championship. So as we know, Ishii's retiring in like maybe, I think it's 3 months, so I'm giving him some good matches. I saw his stamina wasn't too bad compared to previous mods. I've just, when I've maybe got a hold of him in previous mods, I thought, do you know what, he can go 20 minutes easy. And it's a nice wee championship match. It'll tie us into obviously Battle of the Belts later on in the episode after Shockwave, but delighted with that one. You always get a bit of a nice wee surprise when it's pretty good chemistry. It lifts the match. Obviously, you don't know some of them to start with until you have these initial matches. But the fact he's brought an 82, a segment rating of an 86, that'll put it into definitely our top 5 matches. And Takeshita gets a 91. I think, see down the line, once we eventually have like Takeshita Ospreay, Takeshita Bryan, Swerve in there as well, we're going to have some matches easily hitting 90s week after week after week. And a few others sooner than you think. But yeah, happy with that one. And then we end the show where we promo from Don Callis, which only gets a 63, but just says, so in a few short days will we see the next contender step up and step forward to face the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita. Now don't get me wrong, Ishii brought it tonight, but we're excited for Blood and Guts. There is no one who is on Takeshita's level when it comes to ring prowess, athleticism, power, everything you need to be a top wrestler in today's profession. We'll see you all on Wednesday. So basically him saying there's no one that is on the level of Takeshita. The show itself gets an 82, forgetting that this only really shows in the US, but I'm hoping that gets that a wee bit closer to the 77 mark and this movement of size. Again, the fans are disappointed with the lack of storylines that are moving forward, but honestly, like, I'm not going to have Okada and Cassidy interact in the ring, ideally, until Blood and Guts. Same with Swerve and Kenny and the other feuds I've got going. So, yeah, the fans will just have to be disappointed that way and just accept that it's all going to be promo stuff until they collide. I think it makes the collision, no pun intended, a lot stronger. So we finished the show. Any locker room incidents before we head to Shockwave? I'll quickly go and book that, and then we'll see you for that. And then Battle of the Belts. We continue our taping with Shockwave taking place from the Maverick Stadium. We start off with an extremely short match. Wardlow defeats Kip Sabian in 5:04 with the Powerbomb Symphony. This was our storytelling matchup because you're really telling the story of Wardlow being a big dominating force. So only 51 for the wrestling, 44 for the segment overall, a 49 and a 53. I know the in-ring performances are good, and I know it's only a 44 segment. Would I put that down to the crowd rating? Obviously, I don't use crowd management purely because it takes me long enough to book a show, never mind adding that in. I would think the reason that's probably short as well is probably the 5 minutes and 4 for the time. Of course, storytelling, right, that would make them holding back. That would add up as well, of course. Silly me. Moving on. So I've decided with Shockwave, I'm just going to make it, I'm not going to write out the full angles, I'll just kind of put what I think and then I'll kind of describe what's going on in my head with these storylines. So we've had the win for Wardlow, and after match, I'm not where you kind of get like Wardlow's like taunting his pose and the crowd are kind of like boo, and then you get Ricky Slaps just kind of like pointing at him, just saying, look at this guy, how good is this guy? So that was my kind of idea here, and that was a 67 segment. Also a 67 segment was a decent matchup in the women's division as Toni Storm defeats Alex Windsor in 8:47 with a strong 0. 73 for Toni, a 54 for Alex Windsor, a 64 for the wrestling, and a 67 overall. So good stuff there from Toni Storm and Alex Windsor. And then a little segment backstage with Jessie McKay and Mercedes Moné for their character development. I feel like it's something we need to keep addressing with, especially Jessie being our authority figure. We need to try and get her more charismatic. We need to try and get a lot of segments with her involved. And we need to get her overness over as well. So having this kind of wee conflict with Mercedes. So Mercedes basically says, she's really, as much as she was frustrated with how the tournament turned out, she did feel like Jessie kind of lit a fire under her and got her some good victories. And then a bit frustrated that she's brought in brought in Becky Quinn. But Jessie says, don't worry. I know you've got your Monet Corporation, you've got you, Camille, Sky Blue, but we are about to bring in an acquisition we think you are really, really going to like, and we think it's going to take you, Mercedes, to the next level. It's got Mercedes a bit intrigued by who this could be, but Jessie says until they're officially here, she can't mention who it is. So that was a 63. Then had a decent whale brawl as Samoa Joe defeated Killswitch in 7:46 by submission, 64. Although I do have Christian Cage there at ringside as his manager, the patriarchy is going to go. As I say, Killswitch will slowly but surely get written off or used as enhancement talent, probably sent to Ring of Honor. There is plans for Christian coming up, but the patriarchy with Nick Wayne already away, so no matter of time, and a good win for Samoa Joe. We then had a little hype package here. I'm disappointed this only got a 61. I was hoping, my idea with this is a video pack which is basically to focus on a wee bit of history between Okada and Orange Cassidy and hype up the fact that match was coming up next week. So a bit disappointed. I was hoping that might hit an 80. So we may lose pop here on an angle. I'm quite confident our main event will deliver. Angle wise, not so much. We had a decent match though that saw Sammy Guevara defeat the Blade in 8:08 with the 6:30. Made this one steal the show. Thought we'd see if we can get a bit of improvement from Sammy, which I think we did with 65. And the Blade was able to get a 53 rating here for a 62 rated match overall. It's tricky with the Blade because the Butcher's out for a couple of months now, obviously with that torn Achilles, so the Blade is going to be putting people over whenever needed. Oh, this was horrible. 51. I was hoping this would also help us. So basically after the match up, we have MJF come out and he just basically says to Sammy Guevara, just says, whoa, I know you won, but Ricky Starks was right. You absolutely suck. You're rotten. Just completely slanders Sammy Guevara and just says, what the hell did Chris Jericho do to you? You used to be on my level. You know, you're many, many levels down. What the hell happened? So he's just basically laughing and mocking Sammy Guevara, who just looks completely demoralised by that. So that was a 51. So I think we're losing pot with that happening. We had a good matchup here. Bobby Lashley defeated Nick Wayne in 11:09 with the spear. So obviously we've been really pushing Nick Wayne with all our promises. I did have to put the back burners on the victories are from Okada. Okada's bigger plans, so we'll have to just not use that promise, which is a shame. But as I say, if Nick's getting a 72, we don't want to push him with the moon straight away. In ring he's great, but there's nothing on the mic, so that's going to take time. Bobby, as I say, we still need to find where we're going to slot in the Hurt Syndicate. But a good one here, a 71 rated matchup. Bobby picks up the win. The Prodigy Will Rise storyline has started, so there is something in the works with these two. Because after the matchup, we saw a beatdown that saw Bobby Lashley, Powerhouse Hobbs attack Nick Wayne alongside Shelton Benjamin, although we did have AJ Styles come in to make the save and chase the big men off. So he probably just come in with a chair, because I don't think 3 absolute units would be scared of AJ Styles, but we'll just do that. We'll just say the steel chair and the 3 of them ran off, of course, with MVP. So a 56 for that one, continues the Prodigy Will Rise storyline. It's weird, so I'm trying to think of storylines I can do that don't necessarily have to be in pay-per-view. Should be main event time. That delivered. I thought it would. So it was about that had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. We had Rush defeat Ray Phoenix in 21-27 with the Rush driver, giving him his third defence of the TNT Championship. So the good thing is, I think with AEW you do sometimes get like random title matches, which I'm absolutely fine with if the contender at least has a bit of momentum going into it, and at the same time if it's going to be a banger. So with this one, 78 for the wrestling, 49 crowd, 81 segment. My reason for picking Ray Phoenix was I know I was going to always get a good performance from him. Rush is a lot lower in terms of popularity, and I felt like Ray would happily put him over. And at the same time, although Ray Phoenix loses popularity, with his ability, he can easily build that back up. So that's why I went with that one. We lost a bit with a psychology penalty, so we could have maybe been about an 84 or an 85, which is encouraging. And Ray Phoenix benefits from a hot new move. Have we got anything else? Just Rush's inconsistency in the physical condition of Ray Phoenix. But no, overall, I'm pretty happy with that one. As I say, I was really struggling what to put as my main event, because I didn't know what was pop, so it might give us a small chance, although the angles haven't exactly helped us. And I just finished the show. You know that AEW kind of does that thing where they kind of hype show into show. We just have a video package confirming what we're about to see at Battle of the Belts, so that is going to see us have Athena versus Jamie Hayter. No, it's not. It's going to see Athena versus Masha Slamovich. Cheers for putting these in alphabetical order game and not how I put them in. So Athena, Masha Slamovich, TBS Championship. Mariah May, Jamie Hayter for the Women's Championship. And for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, it is the Kings of the Black Throne, Brody King and Malachi Black, who will be facing Aussie Opens, Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. Show itself, I'll take that. We did not lose popularity, which was my worry. So Rush and Ray Phoenix have saved the day. The 33 regions of popularity is practically everywhere bar the US. So that'll basically be in India, in Europe, Oceania, probably Mexico as well. So delighted with that one. Rush was overused. We have to try and get our champions to a good level, and that's why I gave him a TNT Championship. He'll get over. And he's one of the guys I never really watched before AEW, because admittedly I was just kind of like a WWE AEW guy in New Japan every so often, because time is difficult to try and find all the wrestling. But being introduced to Rush, I was like, this guy's good. I like him. So we finished the show, and we may as well do this a wee bit before we do Battle of the Belts. So final broadcasters, we are strictly going to be on, although I still have 6 shows to have on Cablevision, you wouldn't put that on pay-per-view, a Battle of the Belts, so we'll just automatic selection. Just have the, well, there you go, it's put on Cablevision as well. You know what, screw it. They won't, nobody will buy it on pay-per-view, but if they'll buy it on the network. But hey, it gets rid of one of those episodes remaining and puts a wee bit less pressure on us. So we'll be live on Cablevision, we'll be on Eurosport India and the AEW Network. As you can see, we've pumped the money into this, so that's how we make all the money. And well, the last thing to do is the locker room incidents. Not between shows. Usually you get quite a lot before the first show, so obviously that's been in a time to address the locker room. That's already been done. I didn't do anything for this one. I think I want to save the Inspire one for All In, so there won't be anything at Bother Guts either. But yeah, that was the last one we had, so it wasn't the best Battle of the Belts we had back in December. Mercedes Moné defending against Starlight Kid, those two didn't really click. That only gives a 50, but you can see our best match was only a 70, and that was the Patriarchy versus the Lucha Bros. So times have certainly changed, and let's hope this one is an absolute banger. So now getting ready for Battle of the Belts, and because there's not really too much happening, we can actually show this screen for once. That's my booking mindset as we get into it. We're going to try and use the Orange Cassidy angle just to give us a lot of a really strong angle so we don't lose pop, but it is only a 75-minute show, and most of it is going to be taken up by our main event. I was only going to go with 3 matches, but then of course you remember the product has has portions of free ring circus of steal the show, wild brawl, and storytelling. So I thought, yeah, I want my main event to go over 20 minutes and want to give the 4 of them time. So I just added in Rocky Romero versus Jack Perry. This is for the New Japan Television Championship, and yeah, I'll explain more about that once we get into it. So we'll jump straight to the show. The yellow is because Sunday was unhappy at putting somebody over, but we'll give them a wee bit of money to cheer them up. So let's jump in. So straight away, Orange Cassidy just coming out, working the crowd. It's weird because I don't feel Orange Cassidy doesn't really need the promos. He just needs to stick his thumb up or put the title belt. But anyway, we'll just say it was like an impassioned promo because it's a weird one. What are we defining working the crowd? And it's like he's more talking to the crowd rather than talking to cutting a promo on Okada. So we can see here that AEW means so much to Orange Cassidy. He knows what he's getting into with this match against Okada. It's a wrestler that's on a completely grand level, and it's up to him to show that he's not just a comedy wrestler, he is the main man. But the fact, as I say, he works the crowd, he gets in 88. This is why I want to try and, honestly, abuse this until we can get to a really good place, because it's so good. And at least I know my champion has a skill set that's just fantastic, and generally is champion worthy. The opening contest from the evening had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Jack Perry defeats Rocky Romero in 12:24 with a Canadian Destroyer. This match was designed to steal the show. Jack Perry wins the New Japan World Television title. So to clear up a few things here, it's one of our Alliance titles. I'd given it to Jack Perry, but it turns out Rocky Romero had actually won it on, I believe, a CMLL show the night before. So I was quite happy to keep Rocky retaining the championship and have Jack Perry just have him and Rhino just destroy him after the match. But yeah, Jack was not happy. He was very unhappy if he had to put Rocky over. So he'll maybe do it other places, but not in the States. So I thought, do you know what? It gives us something we can build on with Perry. 2-time New Japan World Television Champion. We also had to make this a storyline, because for some reason one of my angles didn't count as a storyline, which is annoying, but fine. Jack Perry can do his thing with Rocky Romero, and I can kind of build that up. It's probably more going to be a Shockwave program than anything else, but I must say, Jack Perry bringing out a 74 is pretty encouraging, and I'm happy with that, and it gives us a 68 overall, so good stuff. Then had a good match. It was for the AEW Women's World title, but unfortunately had to be the storytelling match of the evening, and Jamie Hayter defeats Mariah May in 10-18 with a curb stomp. So for once, we have a title change on Battle of the Belts, and Jamie Hayter is a 2-time, I believe, Women's World Champion. 66 wrestling, 61 crowd, 69 segment, a 70 for Jamie and a 63 for Mariah. I feel with Mariah May, it was an okay title reign. I think she definitely has a long scope to develop and improve, but she's young enough where if we play the same a good wee while, she'll get to where we need her to be. But it gives Jamie the championship, and I can have some absolute bangers, and probably women's main events, because we'll have a champion that is top tier. The match that kind of sold on me with Mariah was her VEO, them not clicking. It was a bit of a killer. But yeah, delighted with that one. Then a little segment backstage between AJ Styles and Nick Wayne, 55. The two were in the storyline, but apparently a character development storyline doesn't kind of move that storyline along. But it's just AJ saying just to Nick, watch yourself, you know what I mean? If you get yourself into trouble with the wrong guys, with the Hurt Syndicate, your career might be over before it begins. Just listen to my advice. Of course, literally as they signed, AJ Styles became a mentor for Nick Wayne. So yeah, we'll put them together. Next up, it was a wild brawl that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Athena defeated Masha Slamovich in 14:27 with the O-Face. I gave them as much time as possible. I felt these two would put on a great matchup, and Athena makes defence 9 of the TBS Championship. Athena with a strong 75, Masha with a 65, the wrestling's a 70, the crowd's a 52, the segment overall's a 73. These two I felt would click well together, and that's certainly been the case here. Delighted with that. Absolutely delighted. And our main event had some great wrestling and good heat. Aussie Open defeat the Kings of the Black Throne in 24 minutes and 59 when Kyle Fletcher pinned Brody King with the Coriolis. Aussie Open win the tag team championships. So they had a few things in here. Brody was unhappy of taking the pinfall. I thought, well, he's less over than Malachi, so he's going to be even more pissed. But I just felt like it was time. I had a great run with the Kings of the Black Throne, but I feel like it's kind of isolated by the Mafias, and it's time we start pushing him as well. But there's big plans for Aussie Open, and I mean, when Fletcher's kind of with 90 rated performances, you've kind of got to go with that. So I can break it down: 79 for Davis, 68 Black, 77 Brody King, 78 for the wrestling, 58 crowd, 80 for the segment. You obviously get a bonus for the great chemistry and excellent chemistry between the teams. You lose a few points for the psychology, but I felt it was good enough to carry. I was hoping I could get a bit higher, maybe into the mid 80s, but still overall pretty delighted with that one, and hopefully we should see a stellar show with that Orange Cassidy rating. Remains to be seen. Bang on an 80. I will take that. Because you always kind of fear, oh god, are we going to be properly hampered, as I say, by the lack of angles. But Orange Cassidy obviously saves us. And I feel compared to the last battle of the belts, it's certainly a step up and a step in the right direction. So finish the show. Financially made 9 million, obviously, we just make it all off our broadcaster. Popularity. If we can have even a good Dynamite, I think we will be hitting 77s. And I think we'll be in a very, very good place. So delighted with that one. And nothing for a media. So we'll come back to the main hub. As now we know we've got 1 week to go before the pay-per-view. Everything's got to be knocked out of the park here. If we can come out of Blood and Guts as a big company, then I think our trajectory is just going to be bigger and bigger. More exposure for the workers. And then you're at that stage that we can start just throwing money around at everything. Investments and you name it. I want to try and just get as many people, multiple pay-per-view main events as well, so we can start building the Hall of Fame, because I'd love to try a physical Hall of Fame. So quite a few things here, we'll quickly dive through them. Collision really struck gold. Battle of the Belts really struck gold. Shockwave was great, so that's good to see. Shameful from AAA, that's not good. All Japan have some room tension. Level Up gets extended to a variety of places. Anything else here directly affects us? Rocky Romero's doing too much of a schedule. He's working for everybody. Willie Mack hasn't worked in 6 months. You know what, pal? You can have a wee handshake deal, you can go work in Ring of Honor. I need to start spreading them for Ring of Honor at other companies. I've got like six companies I've like bought over, so hopefully people can. I should start moving people about, but we need a strong Ring of Honor to have a stronger AEW. Other stuff there. Rina Yamashita wins a championship in GCW. Richard Holiday wins the Tournament of Survival with his moustache. We are concluding the re-signing of Brandon Cutler. He'll just go and get about in Ring of Honor. Just looking to extend deals for Chuck Taylor, and of course Willie Mack can go to ROH, that's fine. Touring contract offered to Jasper Kohn from Noah. Same for Mystico. Truth Magnum's contract's coming up. I'll probably keep him. Just handshake deal, but more sort of put people over. We'll try to tap into that Outrunners merchandise money, that's fine. Kanemaru, that's fine. I always just shortlist all these people so I have an idea. The buy rate, nobody bought it because they all watched it on 300 people bought it, I think. And well, that might have actually just been the people in India, and then 7.4 million viewers on their network. 1.2 million viewers watch Collision, and 9.8 million for Shockwave. Takeshita thinks that Hook's going to be a star. Pay-per-view overuse, that's fine. It's not fine because Blood and Guts is going to be in pay-per-view, so that might hurt it for that one. But we're getting that Cablevision deal done before we end up just having everything on the network. And the lack of big names in attendance. Well, I mean, it's always the script with a special. So what I want to check is show history. 25,000, still good. I'd be reasonably quite happy with that one if I just quickly go to get a few spoilers there. Top 100, where are we? There we go. So 4 shows plus 85, so we're in the right direction with that. You can see matches, we've got 7 over in 85, 3 in the 90s. And that attendance, that's not bad. Although I do laugh though, because then Shockwave, Collision and Battle of the Belts all come up here. All part of that one show. But no, I think we're in a good place. So anyway, that's going to be it for this particular episode. I say we'll have the go-home shows for the 4 usual shows, and then 3 days after that we'll have the pay-per-view Blood and Guts. So thank you very much for watching. Wee thumbs up, we deeply appreciate. Hope you're intrigued to see who the various surprises are for various matches. We'll obviously go through the full Blood and Guts card as well. But as always, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. And until next time, this is Maxwell. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.